So these are BrightDrop vehicles. Which is basically just to say, I think one thing that why I wanted to highlight BrightDrop and why I think it's interesting, because there has been a lot of hype around a lot of companies, BrightDrop included. But, I saw, and I think you guys maybe have 100, 150 vehicles. I mean, I see them everywhere in LA, these actual EVs. And so I'm not sure what the timeline was and how quickly they came, but I feel like
Came
heard about
fast.
BrightDrop for the past couple
Yeah.
years, and then now I'm seeing them out on the road. And so I think it's, I just wanted to highlight that, like, you guys are actually out there building vehicles, doing cool things, and we can start there.
No, it was actually the fastest vehicle, in the history of General Motors, or perhaps
Mm-hmm.
in the core auto space, and going, 20 months from inception to actually delivery of the
Oh, wow.
first production vehicles.
And
And
what
then within
model
our
is this?
first,
This is the
this is the
Zevo?
EV600. Yeah, the Zevo
Okay.
600, right?
Zevo
So it's our,
600.
it was at that point in time we called it the EV600. It's now the Zevo 600. We delivered the first vehicles in the same year that we announced the company.
Oh,
And then this year we delivered, the first batch, and it was announced 150 production vehicles that are on the road um, with FedEx. And then shortly we'll be opening up our PAMI production facilities, nearly 2 million square feet. And that has capacity, significant capacity.
yeah.
In fact, we've stated publicly that we'll be producing and plan to bring to market over 50,000 Zevos per year out of that plant. And that's
Got it.
coming online here shortly. And just here in a short period of time, that'll be coming online. So you're going to see a lot of these on the road next year.
Got it. So it sounds like that factory will give you the capacity to produce 50,000 vehicles per year, which I will say seems like a lot. So what's the limiting factor right now? Is it the vehicle production or the partners?
No, there's not really a limiting factor right now. I think what you're going
Hmm.
to see next year is that there's it's this is an entire revolution, right?
Hmm.
Moving from these ice burners over to EV. Last time we did it, we were feeding our vehicles, right? It was called the horse, and people doing
Hmm.
this. So when they go do this, it's good. But the first year you're going to see people taking bite-sized chunks. So next year
Yeah.
you will see a significant number out there, plus infrastructure. So the infrastructure
Hmm.
is being rolled out, and and us and others have options, alternatives with temporary infrastructure and things of that nature that can help with deployment. And then in 20, we see a significant uptick in calendar year 24 with deployments, and then 25 where it really starts taking over. We're actually seeing people will end up buying more EVs in our category than they are ice burners. So it'll kind of switch over that year, where everyone that we're talking to, for the most part, are looking at, switching out their entire category of light commercial vehicles over the
Hmm.
next 5 to 10 years as part of their sustainability campaigns.
Got it. So when you say
Um,
light commercial vehicles, do you mean sort of like package delivery, like when we think UPS, FedEx type vehicles, or what are we talking here?
really the category of 400 cubic feet to 600 cubic feet is
Hmm.
the core product.
Got
And
it.
one could say up to, once you hit around 900,000, you're getting into a whole different category.
Got it.
But even down to, it's even a little bit smaller than what we're doing right now, maybe down in the 300-ish range. But
Hmm.
the core category, your typical vehicle that you see dropping off your
Like a
packages,
typical FedEx vehicle is
a
what size?
typical FedEx vehicle, that's the size. And then
Okay.
one size smaller, the 400 that we
4 to
have is
600. Got
actually,
it.
it fits in standard parking spots. That's the really the purpose for the
Mm.
400. And for service companies, we've got a lot of service companies that are looking at leveraging this type of platform as well.
Got it. Well, I think that's perfect. Maybe we could focus in on the FedEx partnership for a second here. So you guys, I think, have announced you have 150 of the Zevo 600s in operating in LA. Is that right?
Yes, they are in the LA area. We've got 150 on the road today, being used every single day in production.
Mhm. And so these are fully electric. And I guess I'm curious, what is like when you go and talk with a partner like FedEx, like what's their number one reason for using these vehicles if they had to pick one?
If you had to pick one, it's cost savings,
Cost savings.
which might be
So that would
odd for me to
be
say that. I would
gas
say
or.
your operating costs are significantly less.
Mhm.
So, EVs are fantastic for the environment. We all
Yeah.
know that, right? You're you're reducing tailpipe emissions, right? Zero tailpipe emissions and bringing those emissions close to where we all live. And
Yeah.
that is absolutely what everyone is moving towards. However, if you really look at an equal driving factor behind the scenes is that they're way cheaper to operate.
Mhm.
We've estimated, range 7,500 on the low end, but with gas prices, they are now well into the mid to upper teens in thousands of dollars per year in operational cost
Mhm.
benefits. So if you look at that and you look at the number of vehicles that people have on the road, the numbers add up very, very fast
Yeah.
on how much they can reduce their operating costs.
Got it. Well, let's break down the operational cost benefit because I think gas is an interesting one. And we see this, with Uber and Lyft drivers a lot, for example, right? Like obviously that's
Right.
one of their main expenses and main inputs, but also it's highly variable, right? By state, by city, up and down, by time of year, right? So I'm kind of curious,
Exactly.
like of that, like what's the typical, like when you go to a partner, what is the number that you're highlighting to them? Like here's, the range or how much we can save you. And then like, what are the main categories? I imagine gas is one piece and then maintenance, maybe depreciation. I guess are those the three big categories?
No, the depreciation is absolutely part of it, but the
Mhm.
depreciation part is substantially similar
I
on
guess well,
an EV
the reason
versus
why I
IB.
bring up depreciation is because with consumer EVs like a Tesla, for example, the claim is that they hold their value longer. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but actually, I
We're
think
not
it makes
moving. We
sense.
actually aren't assuming that. The main
Okay.
drivers in what we talk with people, it's price of the fuel, right? So
Okay.
you've got two factors. What's your price of electricity that goes
Hmm.
in the new age fuel, and what's your price of diesel or gas?
Yeah.
That's the main driver. Then you're looking at the repair costs.
Yeah.
So you've got regenerative braking, right? So you're
Hmm.
not going to be replacing brake pads nearly as often. And then you're not doing oil changes. You're not doing,
Right.
a lot of the traditional
Traditional
maintenance
EV
costs that you
benefits.
have, the traditional EV benefits fall right in line with
Hmm.
that. So it's a
Got it.
similar model that you would see for a consumer, to be quite honest with you.